So when you pray, Jesus says, don't do it to be seen by other people, to get their pats on the back for how eloquent your prayers are, or how lofty your prayers are, or how wonderful your prayers are. Jesus says, hey, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. It's important to know that Jesus isn't saying never practice righteousness in front of other people. He's just saying, be careful not to do it to be seen by them, to get the pat on the back from them. Oh, you're so righteous, you're so good, you're so humble, you're so whatever. He says, if you do it for that reason, for the praise of other people, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. He's not going to bless you for that thing that you did, if you did it for other people to pat you on the back. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Now listen, pay attention. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. So why we do what we do is, it's everything to our Father in heaven. If we give to those in need because we know other people will be looking and pat us on the back, then Jesus says your Father will give you no reward for that. He's not going to bless you for doing something to be seen by other people. Another way of thinking about this is doing the right thing for the wrong reason is, in effect, doing the wrong thing. Doing the right thing for the wrong reason is basically doing the wrong thing, because you're not doing it with the right heart, the right motives, right? I think a way of thinking about this is this. So the gentleman who was on the streets, right, who found the backpack, and he did the right thing, and I think he did it. I would say pretty good chance he did it for the right reasons, because he had $42,000. I don't think he was just turning that backpack in to get patted on the back by the police. I think he was legitimately doing it for the right reasons. But it calls into question a little bit. What about the guy who set up the fundraiser for him? You know, we live in a world today where that's a really common thing. Now, 2013 wasn't as common. But the question becomes, why did that guy set up the fundraiser for the gentleman with the backpack? We have no idea, right? I don't know his heart. I don't know his motives. He might have set it up genuinely. Maybe he was a believer. Maybe he had faith in God. Maybe he wanted this man to be blessed for the good things that he did. And he wanted, God to be honored in all this thing. And so he sets this thing up for this man, for him to be blessed. And he does it for the right reasons. Maybe he did it because he knew that his name would get into national headlines, because this guy's name was in national headlines, right? That would be doing the right thing for the wrong reason. We have no idea. But God knows, and God will either has rewarded that man for his actions because he did it with the right heart when he set up that fundraiser, or he did not reward him if he did it for the wrong reasons, right? So you can do the right thing for the right reason, according to God's standards, or we can do the right thing for the wrong reason because we want a pat on the back from other people. We want to look holy. We want to look spiritual. We want to look humble, whatever it might be. So Jesus says, pay attention to your heart and the reason why you are carrying out your spiritual practices. In this case, giving to those in need. Pay attention to your heart. Because why? God sees your heart. He sees the secret things, right, of our hearts and our minds. That's really, really good news in many ways and many times, right? Because sometimes nobody else does notice. Maybe you are giving your all and you're sacrificing and you're doing things that are costing you for the kingdom. And many times, a lot of people have no clue. but you know what you're giving up and what you're sacrificing. It's really good news to know that God sees your heart. And he says, I know what you're doing. I'm faithful. I will not forget what you've done for me. I will reward you. I'll take care of you. I'll provide for you. I will bless you because of what you have done. But it's also kind of a humbling thing to say, okay, I need to know that whatever I do, God sees my heart. So if I'm doing it for the praise of other people, for them to praise me for how great I am, then God's not going to reward those things. So it's a sobering, humbling thing to know that God sees everything. It's a really encouraging thing as well, because he does see all that you give and sacrifice for him. So what we do matters to God. Let's look at Matthew chapter 6 again, and Jesus talks about our praying, our prayer life. He says, when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Right? Again, there's a motive issue. Why are you praying? Well, with these people, they were praying to be seen by others. Their motive was not, God, I want to talk to you. God, I want to connect with you. God, I want to pour my heart out to you. God, I want you to help me or to help other people who need to be closer to you. None of those things were their motive. They were praying to be seen by others. So Jesus says, truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. Whatever pats on the back they get, whatever praise they get from people, Jesus says that's your reward. That's it. God is not going to reward them for what they're doing. But it says, but when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, here's the same statement again, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. So we're beginning to see an intentional pattern here in Jesus' teaching. He's repeating the same phrases, right? He's trying to drill home a point that when we do something, in Jesus' words, when we do something in secret, then God will reward us. And again, this in secret part is, he's talking about the motive of your heart. He's talking about your aim and your intention. He's not talking about the pragmatic outcome of it. My mom, when she prays, especially growing up as a kid, I've told you this before, my mom would go into her bedroom, she'd close the door, she'd get on her knees, and she'd start praying for us kids. Well, our doors were thin in the house that we grew up in, so I heard everything that my mom prayed. The point was, she was going to get alone with the Lord, and she was praying for us kids and for all the things that are important to her in this life that God was working in her heart and minds. And she was going to God in secret. But I heard every word of it. Well, Jesus' point is not people can't hear your prayer or God's not going to answer. His point is, what's your heart? What's your aim? Is mom doing it just to be heard by the family? No, she wasn't. She was going into her room to talk to God, to pour her heart out to Him. She was doing her best to be in secret and just, express everything that she wanted to tell Him and that how much she cared about Him and how much she needed Him. And so the point Jesus is making when He says, do these things in secret, it's your intention. I'm doing it, God, because I want you to hear it, God. I want you to know it. I want to do this for you. I want to do this with you. I'm not doing it for other people to praise me. So his point about in secret is that the intention of your heart, not whether people actually see you do it or hear you do it or whatever. So when you pray, Jesus says, don't do it to be seen by other people. to get their pats on the back for how eloquent your prayers are, or how lofty your prayers are, or how wonderful your prayers are. Even, when we have our time at altars where we use these altars to pray, or we use our chairs to pray, we're not doing it to be seen by other people. I'm not doing it so that even we have a photographer who comes once in a while and snaps shots, and, sometimes you're in the shot, if you're praying, that the picture that he took, and the point is not, I want to be in a picture of me praying. It's like, I'm trying to talk to God. I want to pour my heart out to Him. I want to humble myself before Him and hear Him and engage with Him and get to know Him better. That's my heart. That's my desire. If I'm doing it for any other reason, then God just says, just know you won't be rewarded for that. But if you do it with the right heart, I'll reward you. I will bless you. I will answer your prayers. I will pour my goodness into your life.